The Quran operates as an operational circuit diagram of human consciousness. It is a closed-system topological map. This scale-free network has 6,236 nodes, woven by a dense lattice of cross-references. It holds the instructions for the human processor. Most readers remain on the perimeter, preoccupied with parables. To understand the mechanics, we must bypass those edges and travel into the empty center. This dark center is the nafs wahida, the single origin seed. It represents the system's baseline, the 0 point from which all subsequent complexity emerges. This 0 point underwent a primordial fracture, forcing the single origin to split into two opposing currents. We map this event as the Adamic diode, the fundamental bifurcation that powers the entire network. The Adamic descent triggered a bifurcation mapped as node 2. The polarity required for energy flow. The first current, shuab, represents kinetic expansion, the outward drive to organize physical matter. In this framework, kinetic energy unanchored from the source is the definition of fire. It is pure decoherence, a state where the signal is lost to thermodynamic noise. Now consider the right side, the I9 field. This is the imaginal matrix, the domain of hidden potential. Maryam serves as the operator here. Her function is defined by the mirab, a sanctuary where external causation is completely blocked. This field requires absolute receptivity. It functions as a womb, preserving the uncorrupted spirit by shielding it from the kinetic interference of the material world. For the I9 field to remain coherent, it must be isolated. Maryam places a veil between herself and the noise of the D10 field, preventing the potential from decaying into mundane information. This isolation creates a stalemate. While the I9 field holds pure potential, it remains dormant. It cannot act upon the physical universe unless it can find a safe path across the Adamic divide. Separating these two fields is the T3 depletion zone, node 3. It is the topological boundary where the outward push of Dawood meets the inward sanctuary of Maryam. This buffer is defined by silence. Here, wave activity flattens to 0 as the system resets. This silence acts as mechanical insulation. It is a necessary void that prevents the world's kinetic noise from destroying the delicate signal of the word. If the kinetic field attempts to bypass this buffer, the system shorts out. Like the golden calf, bypassing insulation results in chaotic decoherence. Sober. Most humans exist in a state of wandering intoxication within this buffer. They lack the structural command required to bridge the gap without self-destructing. You, the reader, are the central node. You are positioned within the T3 buffer, the crossing point where the Adamic split must be resolved. Verse 1912 serves as the active bias voltage for the human node. It is the command to take the book with strength. This verse functions as the ignition switch for the circuit. By executing this command, the reader applies a specific frequency that locks the kinetic and potential fields into alignment. The text defines this strength as structural integrity. It is a psychological and intellectual grip that prevents the system from drifting back into the entropic noise of the kinetic field. Applying the 1912 operator is the only way to force the external power of the D10 field to interact safely with the hidden potential of the I9 field. When 1912 is active, the fields phase lock. The kinetic power of the nations and the potential preservation of the tribes interlock at the center of the reader's node. The outward horizontal forces begin to retract. Material mastery and hidden potential neutralize one another, creating a state of perfect equilibrium. With the horizontal currents balanced, the trapped energy is redirected. It pivots 90 degrees into a coherent vertical wave. This is the Idris elevation, the movement of the soul into higher-order dimensions. This fulfills the 2-3-7 topology. The Adamic split at node 2, stabilized by the T3 buffer at node 3, finally achieves the return at node 7. The loop is closed. The Quran is a dormant machine until the reader pulls the switch. When you execute 1912, you are no longer reading history. You are completing the circuit and becoming the living light.